Today, my purpose is to deliver you an important topic as far as the NEET examination is concerned, and this is the cardiac cycle given in the chapter called Body Fluids and Circulation. Cardiac cycle. Cardiac cycle, as the name suggests, it is a cyclic event. It is a cyclic event taking place within the heart in the form of contraction systole and dilation diastole. So, the definition will be the event in cardiac muscles starting from one heart beat to the next heartbeat. These are cyclically repeated. These are cyclically repeated. In case of humans, heart rate is around 72 beats per minute. We know that our heart beat at the rate of 72 times per minute. So, cardiac cycle time will be calculated at 60 seconds upon 72 heartbeats per minute. These are 60 seconds. This comes to 0.8 second. Means from one heartbeat to the next heartbeat, the duration in between is 0.8 second. This is called as cardiac cycle time. It is called as cardiac cycle time. This is inversely proportional. Cardiac cycle time is inversely proportional to the rate of heartbeat. It is cardiac cycle time. It is inversely proportional to the rate of heartbeat. For example, if the heartbeat is low, low heart rate, increase in cardiac cycle time. Increase in cardiac cycle time and vice versa. A shrew, smallest bird we can say, hummingbird, shrew, and various other small size animals with high metabolic activities, they have got higher heart rate. Shrew is a mammal. Shrew is a mammal. Hummingbird is a bird. They have got heart rate in 3 digits. 800, 900, 1000, 1200 per minute. Human heartbeat is 72 times per minute. Elephant, blue whale, these are large animals with relatively low metabolic rate. They have got, longer duration of cardiac cycle time. Because their heart rate is slow, the cardiac cycle time increases. If heart rate is fast, the cardiac cycle time decreases. So this is the relationship called inversely proportional. Now we study here the human cardiac cycle. There are two events. One is systole, another is diastole. Systole means contraction of heart muscle, and diastole is dilation of the heart muscles. There are 4 chambers in our heart, 2 atria and 2 ventricles. The events goes cyclically. Some of the events they are overlapped. Some of the events they are overlapped. So to understand this cycle, let us first see the overall view of the human heart and the circulatory pathway. Suppose there are situation like this. This is aorta, and this is pulmonary arc. We must know the exact location of various valves. These are valves which I am showing with different colors. I am just going to name them. These are bicuspid valve with 2 cusps, and these are tricuspid valve. 3 cusp. There are 3 elevations, 1, 2 and 3. Tri means 3 cusp elevations. By 2 cusp elevation. These are with 2 elevation, these are with 3 elevation. Tricuspid, bicuspid. Bicuspid is also known as mitral valve. Mitral valve. This is left ventricle, right ventricle. This is pulmonary artery, and this is aorta. This is aorta. Similarly, both the structures which are drawn over here, they also bear valves. This is semilunar valves. Semi means half. Lunar means moon. They are half moon shaped. Semi-lunar valves in both aorta and pulmonary trunk. There are 3 semilunar valves in both aorta and pulmonary trunk. We know that the right ventricle, when systole occurs, it pumps the deoxygenated blood to the lungs, and when the oxygenated blood is pumped from left ventricle, it travels through aorta, and this blood is distributed throughout the body to supply oxygen and various other nutrients and all. So this is the basic anatomy we must know before we study the cardiac cycle. The blood, when it leaves the left ventricle, it goes to the aorta. Blood, the deoxygenated blood, when it leaves the right ventricle, it enters in the pulmonary trunk and it goes to the lungs. Left part of the heart, it bears oxygenated blood. Right part of the heart, it bears deoxygenated blood. These valves, whether it is bicuspid or tricuspid or semilunar valves, what is their function? They prevent a backflow of blood. They are made to prevent backflow of blood from the structure in which the blood is pumped. So this is their function. This is the function of valves. What they do? They prevent the backflow of blood. Now, to study the cyclic events, we must start in a condition in which both the atria and ventricle, they are in completely relaxed position, that is joint diastole. Joint diastole. Joint diastole means both atria and ventricles, they are relaxed. In this condition, what happens? The blood from lungs by 4 pulmonary veins, 2 from each lung, it is pumped into the left atrium. This is the pulmonary vein, the only vein that carries oxygenated blood. And similarly, during joint diastole, the blood from lower part of the body as well as the upper part of the body, it enters in the right atrium. This is inferior vena cava. This is superior vena cava. These vena cava, they brings the deoxygenated blood from body to the right atrium. These are 4 pulmonary veins. These are 4, 2 from left lung, 2 from right lung. They brings the oxygenated blood to the left atrium. During joint diastole, both the atria and ventricles, they are relaxed. These bicuspid valves, they are open, and these seminular valves, they are closed. Bicuspid and tricuspid valves, or they are also called as AV valves. AV valves, they are open. As a result of this, what happens? The blood from right atrium, blood from left atrium, it automatically comes into the right ventricle and left ventricle, as simple as this. Since both these valves are open, blood which is coming from 4 pulmonary veins from lungs and superior as well as inferior vena cava, which is coming to the right atria, it passively comes into the ventricles. This is the condition which is called as joint diastole. Both the chambers, upper chambers and lower chambers, they are relaxed. Bicuspid and tricuspid valves are also open. Semilunar valves are closed. Semilunar valves, they are closed. Now, what happens? Due to the electrical activity, the sinoatrial node, this is the second condition called as atrial systole. SA node, sinoatrial node present on the right upper corner of the right atrium generate an impulse leading to atrial systole. Now there are 2 or 3 questions which are been framed at this point. That the 70% of the blood which is arriving into the atria is passively flown from both the atria to ventricle. And remaining 30% of the blood, it is pumped from atria to ventricles by atrial systole. 30% increase in blood flow from atria to ventricles. Please remember that both the atria, they contract simultaneously, and both the ventricles, they also contract simultaneously. There is no separate, left or right atria contraction or right or left ventricle contraction. Systole is in both the atria, means both the atria, they contract. As a result of this, 30% of the blood which was remaining in the atria, it comes into the respective ventricles, means from left atria to left ventricle, right atria to right ventricle. Maximum ventricular filling occurs in this condition. Maximum ventricular filling. At this time, bicuspid and tricuspid valves are open, as well as the semilunar valves are closed. Bicuspid, tricuspid open, and semilunar valves, they are closed. This is a condition which occurs for hardly for 0.1 second. Now comes the third stage, that the nodal tissue which is present in the cardiac musculature, it sends signals from SA node to AV node and from AV node to bundle of His. The bundle of His is a structure which is present in atrioventricular septum. The bundle of His or AV bundle, it is present in interventricular septum. This leads to contraction of ventricles. The depolarization wave which is transmitted from AV node to AV bundle, the depolarization wave which is started from AV node to AV bundle, leads to simultaneous contraction of both the ventricles, leading to ventricular systole. Now before I am writing the third part, that is ventricular systole. It is of 0.3 second duration. Before, this is important, ventricular systole, both bicuspid and tricuspid valves are closed. Now, closure of this AV valves or bicuspid and tricuspid valve leading to first heart sound. First heart sound, lub, L-U-B, lub. First, this duration of 0.3 second is very important, since the blood is pumped from both the ventricles to the respective blood vessels. So here the three semilunar valves they are open, because until and unless these valves are not open, how the blood will move out. So in this case, the three semilunar valves are open. Simultaneously, there are two actions going over here. One is the closure of atrioventricular valve, that is bicuspid and tricuspid, and opening of three semilunar valves in both pulmonary artery and aorta open. The blood moves out. Blood moves out from right ventricle to pulmonary artery and left ventricle to aorta due to opening of these seminal. At this time, the atria are relaxed. Atria, they are completely relaxed, means they are in diastole. So this condition of ventricular systole, it overlaps the atrial diastole. Now, the blood, when it moves out forcefully from both the ventricles as a result of ventricular systole, the pressure inside ventricles gradually decreases. The pressure inside ventricles is gradually decreased since the blood has started moving out of the ventricles. Pressure in both ventricles decreases since maximum blood has moved out of the ventricles. This may lead to backflow of blood from both the arteries into the ventricles. To prevent this backflow, to prevent backflow, the semi-lunar valves, they are closed. You please remember that now the ventricles are slowly entering in the phase of diastole. Ventricular systole is followed by ventricular diastole. So ventricular systole, when it leads to moving out of the blood from both the ventricles, the ventricular diastole, when it is start, it is ensured that the semilunar valves are closed so that the blood does not come back to the respective chambers. The closure of semilunar valves gives the another sound, second heart sound. Second heart sound. It is called as dup. It is called as diastolic sound. It is called as diastolic sound. Second heart sound is called as diastolic sound. It is of it is of shorter duration and low pitched sound. These are the questions which are formed over here. First heart sound is lub, can be heard with the help of a stethoscope. Second heart sound is dup, which is also heard with the help of a stethoscope. Lub as a trick is long duration, low pitched, and this is dup, which is short duration and high pitched voice. It is high pitched sound. We can say that the entire cardiac cycle can be depicted in the form of this circle in short, which can be further divided into these three important steps, that is atrial systole of 0.1 second, ventricular systole. There are many questions which are being found from this topic. 0.3 second, ventricular systole, and this is joint diastole. Joint diastole of 0.4 second. If I say the condition of valves, so this is ventricular systole. At this stage, the AV valves, they are closed. Before ventricular systole, the AV valves, atrioventricular valves, bicuspid and tricuspid valves, they are closed. This is the time of ventricular systole, and before the ventricular systole ends, and just before starting of ventricular diastole, the semilunar valves, they are also closed. Semilunar valves, they are closed. Due to closure of AV valves, the blood does not flow back from ventricles to atria. Because of closure of semilunar valves, the blood does not come back from arteries to the ventricles. There are various questions, as I already said. Now, another question which can be framed over here is that which are the conditions which are overlapped in the cardiac cycle? The overlapped conditions, these conditions are atrial systole with ventricular diastole. Ventricular diastole. Atrial systole, suppose this is atrial systole, so this is with another color, the portion of ventricular diastole. We have already said this is joint diastole, 0.4 second. This is overlapped condition. Similarly, the atrial diastole, it is overlapped by, this is atrial diastole, it is overlapped by ventricular systole. You can read it. Atrial diastole, it is overlapped by ventricular diastole. So these are certain phases which are overlapped in the cardiac cycle time. Atrial systole 0.1 second, atrial diastole, it is 0.7 second, total comes to 0.8 second. Similarly, the ventricular events, ventricular systole 0.3 second, and ventricular diastole, it is 0.5 second. Again, the total comes to 0.8 seconds. So this is the time calculation of cardiac cycle time in case of human beings. I hope I have made myself very clear as far as the timing are concerned. As far as the closure of these valves are concerned, I am again repeating here during the ventricular systole, bicuspid and tricuspid valves are closed. First heart sound. This is the condition where the semilunar valves are closed. This is leading to the production of second heart sound. This is first heart sound. Lub, this is second heart sound. Dub. These sounds can be heard with the help of a stethoscope. The volume of blood pumped out by each ventricle, it is around 70 ml. We know that heart rate, it is 72 times per minute. Now both these data can be used to calculate cardiac output. Short term is CO, cardiac output. It is heart rate multiplied by stroke volume. What is the stroke volume? This is the volume of blood pumped out by each ventricle. This is called as stroke volume. This is called as stroke volume. Each ventricle, left and right ventricle. Cardiac output in case of normal adult human being can be calculated as around 500 ml blood. Means the entire blood approximately that we have in our body in adult human being, it is pumped out by heart every minute. Every minute, entire blood present in our body is pumped out by heart. This is called as cardiac output. Heart rate into stroke volume. I hope I have made myself very clear. You are free to write comment. My channel is Sir Classes. Your suggestions, your comments, your critics are more welcome. Thank you very much.